Hello, my name is Reggie Nance, and over the last 20 years, I've been fortunate enough to work in the nonprofit industry. Currently, I work as the Vice President of Finance and Administration for an association in Washington, D.C. that's been around for over 60 years. I'm fortunate because I'm able to put my talents into work for an organization that is committed to helping the community. And that's what associations and nonprofits are about. So I'm here to talk about the importance of nonprofits and the importance of actually supporting nonprofits. It's really important that they are supported. So why are nonprofits so important? They're important because they meet the needs of the community. Unlike for-profit organizations where quite often it's designed to make sure that the value of the company goes up for the owner of the company, or the stock price goes up for the shareholders of the organization. Nonprofits are really designed to make sure that the value of the community goes up, and that's why they're really important. And also, nonprofits are normally ran by, and you have volunteers also of nonprofits, of people who are passionate for that particular area in which the nonprofit represents. So if you have a nonprofit that is committed to providing clothing, food, and shelter for the homeless, you tend to have people who are involved with that nonprofit that are passionate about that nonprofit. Government agencies are great, but they tend not to be as passionate as those who work in the nonprofit arena to actually help those individuals. So nonprofits serve a major role, not only in the United States, but in this world as a whole. Now, whether you know it or not, you've probably received services from a nonprofit. If you look around the room and you look at people beside you, in all likely, if you haven't received it, someone sitting beside you have received some type of service from a nonprofit. Some of the types of nonprofits that are out here, you have nonprofits that are universities, you have nonprofits that are hospitals, you have neighborhood associations that are also nonprofits, and you have churches, which a lot of us are involved in, that are nonprofits. And then you have professional associations, and that's just to name a few of the different types of nonprofits. And the professional associations, those are nonprofits that are really designed to represent people who work in different professions. You have associations, you have nonprofit associations for plumbers, for metal workers, for doctors, for lawyers, for nurses, teachers. If you think of a profession, in all likelihood, there's an association that actually represents that particular profession. And what do? They make sure that the needs of the people who work in that profession are being made, that they're being trained the way they should be trained, and that they're receiving the rights that they should be receiving from their employer or even from the government sometimes. So they're very important. And then you have the nonprofits that are really focused on the community and helping people in the community, helping children in the community, helping families in the community, which is really important. You have associations that are large association and nonprofits that are large, such as the American Red Cross. They do a lot of help with disaster relief. We've all heard of them. You have the United Way, and they do a lot of work with students. Even in the state of Ohio alone, the United Way, they've serviced over 53,000 high school students and helped them with their educational development. So those are really important organizations. Besides providing services, nonprofits also provide employment for people, which is great. You have over 1.5 million people. You have over 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States alone, and in the state of Ohio alone, you have close to 60,000 nonprofits. And those nonprofits employ quite a few people, as I mentioned. United States, you have close to 15 million people who are employed by nonprofits. And in the state of Ohio alone, you have close to 500,000 people who are employed by nonprofits. So besides providing services to the community, it also provides an opportunity for people to make a living, for people to provide for their families, and in turn around and provide for their community. So those are great things as well. So what is it that we are here today talking about? We're talking about the importance of nonprofits, but we also want to focus on the organization that we're here today to talk about. And that organization is called UnitedtoBless. And this is an organization that was founded by Tracy, and Tracy had a dream. And it's important to us to be able to support our dreamers, especially when that person has a dream to help the community. It's very important to support the person. So I have what I call my 3 T's when we're talking about supporting any type of organization, especially a nonprofit organization. And the 3 T's to me stand for your talent, your time, and your treasure. Now, everyone can give their treasure. If you can, that's great, but everyone can't. So we're asking for some of us to give our talent and our time as well. Now, your treasure, of course, would be your money. If you can't give your money, you can also give. You can donate supplies or other things to the organization. But if you can't give that, then you also can always donate your talent, and that's your ideas and your creativity. Those are things that are very important as well. And then we have your time, and the time is important as well because the time involves people volunteering to actually show up and help others, show up at events and show up at things that the organization is doing to help others. But again, those are all great things, and there are millions upon millions of people who volunteer for nonprofit organizations, and I'm sure that some of you sitting in the audience right now are volunteers for some type of organization. And there are a lot of people who also have the ability to give. In Ohio, the great thing about Ohioans is that they've given over $5.2 billion to nonprofit organizations. So there's definitely a spirit of giving in the state of Ohio, which is really great. But again, if you can't give that, it's always important to be able to try to give something, especially to an organization like this that is really focused on providing services to the community. I'll let Tracy explain the actual services because she's a lot better at doing that than I am, and she's a lot more passionate about it than I am. So I think it's important that she explains that to you. But I just thank you all for your time in listening to me and allowing me to just share a little bit of what I know and why I think nonprofits are very important. And I look forward to working with you all as we go forward with UnitedtoBless so that UnitedtoBless can be a blessing to the community. Take care.